do it. Hello everyone and welcome to the big show. This is Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Trading Academy. If you're a first time listener, thank you for stopping by. As always, I am your host, Josh Lillquist, and I do have my good friend, yes, he still is a good pal, and he still is the one and only Mr. Al Connix. And Al, how you doing today?
Feeling pretty, I'm going to say, chipper today.
Chipper, I think you might have been chipper about 2 weeks ago as well.
I've used that word before.
Maybe it's because you're wearing the same shirt today.
That I wore a couple weeks
2
ago.
weeks ago.
Well, I only have two shirts, so you're going to see it often.
Well, off or often?
Often.
Oh, thank you. I thought you said often. I
Not
said,
often.
boy, our listeners,
Get
especially
that out of your mind.
especially on the YouTube, are probably happy it is not off today.
Yeah,
But you
happy.
have been working out though. I can tell. Let's congratulations to that. But Al, this is not a fitness show, although we could talk a lot about fitness and health and
Financial
wellness.
fitness.
There you go. But we'll talk about the financial markets and the financial fitness.
Let's do that.
Our sponsor, Trading Academy, on their 29th year, teaching people just like you how to invest, how to trade, how to get in these financial markets if you're brand new and don't know a stock from a stick. Or maybe you're just a seasoned investor, but you're looking for a little bit more consistency. Trading Academy has strategies designed to tackle both of those, the income side of it and the retirement side. And we know we have strategies like short-term, mid-term, long-term, and there's a strategy for everybody, Al.
There is.
And we're going to discuss some of that stuff here today on Investing and Trading Live. Make sure to follow the podcast, Investing and Trading Live, wherever you listen to your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. As we know, the S&P 500 reaching new highs once again, over 6,265 at one point. Almost, I think the highs were 6,285. So we're seeing some great movements with the stock market on the S&P 500. That's kind of the gauge of the overall markets. You have the tech industry, or tech sector we'll call it, or index, which is the NASDAQ, over 22,815 as of the recording of the show, all-time highs as well. And the Dow Jones off just a smidgen. And I don't know what a smidgen is, I just made that up today. But just off the all-time highs, and
It's small.
it's small. By the time you hear the show here, it might actually be all-time highs. All of this,
Anti-smidgen.
exactly. This is played all across the country and the world on the podcast. So you have the overall markets looking real good, which is making the average investor feel pretty decent right now. We have a airline stock soar. Obviously, Delta led a rally in the airline sector after exceeding earnings expectations, boosting investor confidence in travel-related stocks. Boy, I tell you what, Al, the old crypto world, you have Bitcoin topping $118,000 per Bitcoin, and just some great movements there, Al. Obviously, that was fueled by an NVIDIA-led equity rally and then growing acceptance in traditional finance, including a strategic Bitcoin reserve and a 14.4 billion in spot Bitcoin ETF inflows. So basically, crypto stocks like Coinbase and MicroStrategy also saw some gains. Obviously, NVIDIA continues to drive the tech stock gains. And actually, Citi raised its price target to 190, citing AI demand. Now, one of the cool things about that is, who cares what Citi says? Let's look at a chart and make smart investing decisions based off facts,
Yeah,
not opinions.
The problem is too many people listen to those opinions.
Exactly.
You have to remember, folks, that an opinion is just basically a guess about something.
Yeah, and that's everybody has one too, just like other things.
Mhm.
So, AI is really leading this charge with some of these stocks. Tesla slipped a little bit amid the trade uncertainties and Elon Musk political activities. We won't go down that path. But obviously, we still have those tariff concerns impacting sentiment, uncertainty over U.S. tariffs, including Trump's threats against Canada, and extensions on deadlines caused market volatility. So, Al, as we know, there's a lot of volatility, as I just mentioned here, but really great opportunities with these markets. Now, just real briefly, I know we're getting close to the end of the first segment already. We're going to dissect a lot of this stuff from the intro. But why is it so important right now to learn about how these markets actually function?
Well, because the opportunities are so great right now. You know, a lot of people are sitting on the sidelines, a lot of people are afraid because they think that this volatility equates to risk. And volatility, risk, whatever you want to call it, is just an opportunity. We don't have those things, we don't have opportunities to benefit from these markets. You mentioned Elon Musk. We love to see things like this where somebody can say something, it can drive the move of their stock or the market one direction or another. And typically what they're doing is just more quickly driving price into an area that we can take advantage of. And we do that by following the people that know how to take advantage of whatever the price is, whatever the asset is. And there's only one thing that moves price, and that's buying and selling. And it's more buyers and sellers drive the price up, more sellers and buyers drive the price down. But it's identifying who those people are and when they're going to be active that's important. They try to hide what they're doing. That's part of what we do is we'll show you what they're trying to hide and how you can take advantage of it.
Well, it's just optimizing your odds and probabilities.
It's probably, yeah, we're not predicting, we're really looking at probabilities. You have to put the probabilities in your favor. That's an edge you have. If you don't have that, then basically you are just kind of guessing and hoping that things work in your favor.
Yeah, and that's what's pretty cool about Trading Academy is Trading Academy has strategies for the average investor, the public. And it's designed to follow those institutions like you're alluding to, and we'll dissect that a little bit more as we progress into the show here. But we're seeing so many people that are coming to these free trading and investing workshops that we do all across the metro. We're local, and what's pretty cool is we're a local academy that trains these skills, gives some knowledge about these markets.
Because real people doing it.
With actual people. It's not an AI bot, I'll tell you that, because you gotta be very careful with what you see online on the old interweb. So that's why we're getting so many comments of people very appreciative about a physical place they can go to build these skills and understand how these markets function. And what type of people are coming to these classes? It's your everyday people, your 9-to-5ers that have great jobs and have 401ks, IRAs, but looking to build more, hopefully at a pace that they're looking for. But also we're seeing people that business owners, a lot of business owners come into these classes that they like multiple streams and strategies to tackle some of these things. But that's one of the cool things and why we host these physical investing and trading workshops that I want to invite you to. So to come into one of these physical investing and trading workshops, simply just text the word investing right now to the number 210-210 for 2 seats. Text investing to the number 210-210, or go to tradingacademy.com and you can pick your own seat there. If you are an old school caller, you can call 952-814-4410. That's 952-814-4410, and we'll help you get a date and time for that class. We have a lot more to discuss. We're going to talk about those AI stocks, those Delta, and different opportunities we can use moving forward. This is Josh and Al with Investing and Trading Live. We will be right back. One of the beautiful things about technology is sometimes you have to turn your sound on. We did the whole first segment on YouTube with no sound.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so thanks for you YouTube listeners that are still on. We apologize for the technology snafu.
Yeah, we don't expect you to learn how to read lips to be able to understand what we're talking about. So we apologize for that.
Yeah, there you go. 11, 12. All right. Well, maybe we'll give them something a little bit better on segment 2 here, Al.
Mm-hmm.
I almost should just delete it, but we'll keep it going. We'll just keep it going. So we got 14:50 on the clock.
Okay.
NASDAQ, is that how you spell that? NASDAQ?
NASDAQ,
AQ?
DAQ. Mhm.
Boy, that's a tough one. I should know that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Hang on a second here.
1450. Thank you for staying on YouTube, my friends. We will make sure we get some audio for you here on this one. All right, here we go. Welcome back to Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Trading Academy. As always, I am your host, Josh Lillquist. On the last segment, did a quick market overview, or we'll call it update. Obviously, we have airline stocks soaring. We'll talk about that here on this segment, with especially with Delta. Bitcoin obviously is probably all over the news. I'm sure everybody's seen their memes everywhere, and their Instaface and their Twitter and all that stuff that's out there. And all-time highs with Bitcoin over 818,000. Heck, with the volatility on Bitcoin, who knows? Maybe by tomorrow it'll be 105,000. You never know how fast that moves. And then we had tech stocks like Nvidia really just fueling some of these moves in the markets, reaching the highs of over 166 bucks per share at one point. Tesla did slip a little bit, but showed some strength on Friday once again. Amid the, obviously we have Elon Musk that's in the news airwaves right now with well, some people just maybe just don't like what he's doing, but you know what? It's okay. He can do what he wants. So last week we talked about Nike. That one continued to show some strength over the week, but slowed down on Friday. Coinbase also reaching some major moves over the last week or so because of the Bitcoin craze as well. So great movements moving forward. We did have a lot of people texting in and going to the website and calling for these free trading and investing workshops that we do locally here at the Academy and all across the metro. These are 2-hour classes to dive into these markets and gain some insight on how to make smart investing decisions. If you missed those, just text the word investing to the number 210-210. That's text investing to the number 210-210. And you'll get a text right back with a link, and you can pick your own seat and date there. Or just go to tradingacademy.com and you can pick your own seat and date there. Also, for you old school callers, if you have a rotary phone, it may or may not work, but you can also call 952-814-4410. That's 952-814-4410. And we'll make sure we get a seat for you as well. Bring your friends as well. We get a lot of people that bring their family with. A lot of people are bringing their spouses with, especially if you make your financial decisions together. Bring them with. That way you can make smart decisions for your family's future. Follow the podcast, Invest in Trading Live, on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. So, Al, with Delta, I was actually on a Delta flight last night, and it seems like every time I fly, I'm getting delayed lately. But there was not a delayed reaction with the market this week. Obviously, on Friday, soaring on Friday, starting out at about 50 bucks per share, got up to about 57 bucks per share, a 13% return or movement on one day with Delta.
Yep.
But we talk a lot about these movements with stocks, and that's what everybody is seeing out there. You've helped a lot of people here at the Academy with making smart investing decisions, whether they're looking for an income strategy or a retirement strategy. Now, why are you seeing people right now come to the Academy for some sort of help?
Well, what we're seeing, Josh, is a lot of people coming in saying, I looked at things on YouTube. I went to some webinars or seminars and listened to some webinars and seminars, and I got some information, but I wasn't quite sure how to use it properly to transition into successful trades. And what they're saying is that they feel really lucky that they found a place where it's a physical location where they can come in and actually sit down with people that will help them. And I think that for the majority of the people out there that are trying to do this on their own, that either haven't traded before or have traded and aren't doing well, you're probably going to need some help, some guidance, and some support. And that's one of the things that really sets us apart. But I think we also need to talk about some fallacies, some of the reasons that people either stay out of the market or don't do well. One of those is that you will always constantly hear people say you can't time the markets. What they're not telling you is that what they mean by that. What do they mean by not timing the market? Because what we're going to tell you is that timing, learning how to time, market timing is not only important, it's necessary if you want to be successful. And what it is, the real meaning of that for us is identifying market turns and moves before they happen.
So why is that different from stuff that happened and worked in the 80s and 90s?
Well, things have changed. Things change constantly. I mean, if you look back over the years, how did people used to get movies? They would go to Blockbuster. How many Blockbusters are around anymore?
I haven't seen one for a couple of years
Yeah,
now.
people with cameras used to have to buy this thing called film, and not many people do that anymore. Things have changed. Technology changes. The way the markets react to economic situations change, and that's a good thing because somebody is always taking advantage of those changes. And the great thing for us as retail traders, as the public, is that we have the ability to follow what the people that are moving price are doing. You don't have to make this complicated. There's not a lot of mathematical formulas or weird, strange things that you have to be able to do to take advantage of the markets. There are people out there that have got this figured out that are making a lot of money on a regular basis, called Wall Street, hedge funds, people like Warren Buffett. If they're doing something right, because their returns are so much greater than the retail traders, if they're doing something right, and you could just understand what they're doing, and also, this is going to sound maybe strange, but also know what they're going to do before they do it. Could you then take advantage of their ability to move markets? Absolutely.
So what sets Trading Academy, or what makes Trading Academy the leader of financial education?
Okay, because we have developed, we've developed an investment strategy. And by the way, if you're not using a strategy, you might as well just go to a casino and throw your money away.
Yeah, Mystic Lake has a lot of open seats over there.
They always will. But we've developed a strategy that we've kind of fine-tuned over the years that just at its heart just functions on one thing that can't be argued and is probably the most important component of any financial market, and that's the relationship between supply and demand.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can identify when demand is going to outpace the supply, in other words, where buyers outnumber the sellers, then you have an opportunity to participate in what they're doing. Unfortunately, most retail traders end up just chasing stocks after the moves have already taken place. And they're actually, by doing that, they're actually trading or acting with more risk, and then their probability, their edge of being successful and their probabilities are gone. So, by the time the public learns about an opportunity on the news, the smart money, the big players, they've already moved. And by the time that people have finished researching a stock, which they tell you to do look at the fundamentals, that initial pop is over. And that's oftentimes when you see the biggest moves. The airline stock you just mentioned, Delta. Mm-hmm. If you go back a few weeks and you look at Delta, this is a problem. People think they can just buy something at any price and hold on to it and they'll do well. Sure, Delta had a big move the other day, but go back a few weeks and look at where it was trading.
It was actually down 47% from January until March.
Exactly. So what could you have done? Well, maybe if you knew how to benefit when the markets go down, not just up, you could have benefited from that 47% drop. Mm-hmm. Now it came back up again. The truth is that things don't move in a straight line, whether it's up or down. They do stair steps. They go up, they go down. In a bull market, you can have some of the biggest one-day retreats that you'll see. Mm-hmm. And in a bear market, you can have some of the best one-day moves up that you can see. But you had the important thing is you don't fight the market. And by that, what we mean is don't fight the people that control the market. Mm-hmm. So who's controlling the market? It's the people that have enough clout, enough dollar clout, financial clout, to move the price of something. You and I don't. If we
No.
buy shares of something, we're not going to move the price.
Yeah. And to give some context on that, just for our listeners, you mentioned profiting in multiple directions or having strategies for multiple directions. For those people that buy and just hold things long term, because that's what they say, they buy and hold. Well,
Right.
over time, it stinks. Because looking at Delta, if you would have bought Delta in December of 2017, what's that, 8 years, Al? I mean, my math is a little off, but probably around close to 8 years.
Yeah, 8 years.
You would have catch this now, drum roll please, a 0% rate of return in 8 years. So that's why there's so much opportunities as markets go up, as they go down. And as I mentioned, it was down 47%, and then markets have rallied 61% up since then. There's opportunities that people are missing out on just by buying and hoping. And that's why Trading Academy differentiates from the public. It's a strategy that's been developed but based off of facts, supply and demand. And if you need help with that, if you want to gain some knowledge about that supply and demand strategy, how that works, how to have a plan, simply just text the word investing right now for 2 seats for a free in-person investing and trading workshop to gain some insight on how to make smart investing decisions no matter which way this market goes. Text investing to the number 210, and that'll be for 2 seats, one for you and a friend, or you can call 952-814-4410. That's 952-814-4410, and we can help you get your own seat and date there. If you're on the old interweb, just go to tradingacademy.com. So Al, we have multiple directional strategies. And the most people don't really realize that there's so much opportunities out there. You look at over a course of, say 20, 30 years, it looks like it's a good rate of return, but you lose so much time. And if most people are just buying and hoping it goes up, if people, that's what they know, and nobody is reaching their wealth goals, they got to do something different. So what does Trading Academy do differently as far as a plan to plan for the future?
Okay, well, let me just comment on, you mentioned that over the course of about 30 years, people are not doing that well. Dalbar, a research firm, did a study. They published it showing, this was been back in 2015, but over the past 30 years, the S&P returned an average of 11% a year. The average investor only achieved a return of about 2.5%. So again, it gets down to the difference there. Why are the big players making money and the smaller players are not, the retail traders aren't? Well, for a number of reasons. They're either trading the wrong assets, they're putting together a portfolio of a number of different things that they're told to hold on to for years. And we just have commented on a few things that have dispelled the value of that. Even if you go back to the year 2000 and you owned Intel, it was $74 a share. It's 25 years later, it's trading in the low 20s.
$23.46, to be exact.
So how did buy and hold work for you there? Not very well.
I think people don't really realize either. It's not, the stock market is designed to go up. It's supposed to. And then if stocks that are in there, if they stink, they're just going to pull them out and put stocks that are doing well so it looks better. But what people don't realize is your dollars are going fewer. They're worth less and less every single year. The dollar is down about 80% since 1913, right?
90, well over 90%.
90%, yeah.
Even from the year 2020, the buying power is down over 25%.
Yeah, so your dollars don't go anywhere. So it inflates the market, but your money's actually isn't doing as much for you. You can look at the math on all that stuff if you know how to do that. And maybe we can explain that in a different show at one time. But they're just not having the efficiencies. It's not just because the market's going up slow. It's because your dollar is worth less or worthless, we'll call it. And you can't do anything with the earnings that you do get. So that's why it's important to have a plan for multi-directions. Other assets, but using leverage and buying power. And we're going to talk about that in the next segment as well, Alice, because I think it's important for our listeners to know that there are ways to be efficient with whatever dollars that you have and do more with less, essentially. And we're going to talk about that coming up here. But if you want to learn more about how to gain more insight on having your dollars work for you, or how not to be in that same path of people just don't have enough wealth, people don't reach their wealth goals, but having a plan to get there, on your terms for whatever goal or objective that you have. Everybody has a different goal or objective. Why not create that plan and then actually have a step-by-step strategy designed to do that? And that's what Trading Academy does, is design step-by-step strategies to create that plan from where you are now to where you want to be. And it starts in a physical trading and investing workshop that we do locally all across the metro here. We obviously have our state-of-the-art facility right here in Bloomington, but we have locations all across the metro. To come into one of these free trading and investing workshops, just text the word investing to the number 210. They'll be for 2 seats, one for you and a friend, or go to tradingacademy.com and you can pick your own seat there. If you are an old school caller, you can call 952-814-4410. That's 952-814-4410. And you can get a physical person to talk to, and then you can come into one of these classes. Al, we are going to talk about those leveraged assets coming up, how to be efficient with your dollars. If you want to have more efficiency with your dollars, stay tuned. This is Josh and Al, Investing and Trading Live. We will be right back.